algebra 1.
Yeah.
So there's an interior. Oops, that's a bad color. Let me get standard color here. There's an interior. We're talking about like a region, an exterior, and then there's an exterior. And this line right here is called a transversal.
Okay.
All right. So the first thing that it asks for, like letter A, is it wants to know the corresponding angles.
Mm-hmm.
Corresponding angles means that they're equal.
Okay.
They're equal to one another. Equal to one another, each other. Equal. We'll just leave it like that, equal. So let's start with angle 1. Angle 1 is congruent, okay, to angle 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, do you see the position of angle 1? See how it's sort of top left, if you will? Well, angle 5 is also top left.
Yeah.
All right, so then there's angle 2. That one's here. That's sort of bottom right.
Mm-hmm.
It's congruent to angle 6.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're just going through the list here. There's 4 total. Angle 3, which is bottom left, is congruent to angle 7.
Yes, well, yeah.
And then lastly, angle 4 is congruent to angle 8. So I'm asked this question all the times by students. Do I need to memorize this? Yes. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is that there's really only 2 situations. They're either equal or they add up to something.
Okay.
So these are equal. Like 1 is equal to 5, 2 is equal to 6, 3 is equal to 7, 4 is equal to 8.
Yeah.
Okay, part B. Part B is alternate interior angles. So alternate has the root word to alternate, to move between. Okay, and the interior tells you the region. We're in this region right here on the left here. We're in the middle section.
Mm-hmm.
So angle 3 alternates with angle 8.
Yeah.
Okay, and then angle 2 alternates with angle 5. And the word kind of tells you where they are. They're in the interior. They have to be in the interior. You can't get an exterior.
Yeah.
All right. Part C is alternate exterior angles. So again, if we just look at the words, we're like, okay, they got to be in the exterior. So which is in the exterior? Well, angle 1 is in the exterior. What else is in the, like, it sounds like maybe you even saw this in class. Do you see how 1 and 6 are alternating?
Yeah, I see that. And like
Okay.
7 and 4.
And like 7, 4. Okay. All right. So I can go a little faster. I didn't realize you had like already seen this in class.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So again, but you got to know all this. Like it's just the way it is. Like if you want to do well in this class, you got to do that. Then the supplementary, and there's actually a lot of these. So there's actually a lot of these. There's one that's not covered here, which is called same side, which I think is what they're referring to here. Okay, and it's the same side of the transversal. So that's like angle 3, measure of angle 3 plus measure of angle 5, that equals 180. See how they're on the same side of this transversal on the left?
Yeah.
And then similarly, measure of angle 2 plus measure of angle 8 equals 180.
Yeah.
All right, now there are other supplementary angles, like for example, let me just draw a line here. See if I can go down just a little bit. So like, for example, measure of angle 7 plus measure of angle 6 equal 180.
Yeah.
And visually, if you see that, like there's 7 and there's 6, they're going to add up to 180.
Yeah. I see that.
All right, and there's a bunch of them, like 5 and 7, 8 and 6, 2 and 4, 4 and 1, 3 and 2, 1 and 3. There's a lot of them that are supplementary. So I don't know if they all need to be written down, but that's like the basis for doing the rest of this worksheet. Okay, and then we do some problems. Okay, so some problems. Well, and let me just draw another orientation of this. So it doesn't matter. It could be that these are the parallel lines like this,
Mhm.
and then they're cut by a transversal going this way.
Yeah.
Or it could be that they're parallel and the transversal goes that way. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
It just matters that you have two parallel lines.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna look at question. We're gonna look at question 2, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, lines A and B are parallel. Okay, let me snip this in. Okay, cut by a transversal T. Find each angle measure. So we need to start by finding all the angle measures. And I guess like what I would tell you to do is like do them sort of in an order that makes sense to you. Like, do you see that this is 30 degrees? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I do.
Sorry, no, that's completely wrong. 110 degrees because they have to add up to 180.
Yeah, I see that. Okay.
Okay. All right. Now, like over here, these have to add up to 180. So that's 70, but it's also the same as that. They're called vertical angles. Let me know if you've already seen all this. I don't want to, spend too
No,
much
no, no,
time.
it's good. It's
Okay.
good.
Okay. So it's like you just go around the clock here or around the circle, whatever you like to do, and get all the numbers. Okay. And you feel good about that. And then you got to go back and you got to use one of the things we talked about.
Okay. Which was those the
So like, for example, I like to find alternate interior first. So like this is 110 because these are alternate interior,
yeah,
but they're also, and there's like so many options here, 70 and 110, they're same side.
Mhm.
Okay. And then so on. So that once you have one of the angles, you can find all the rest. Like this is 70, this is 70. Okay. It's 70 because they got to add up to 180. They got to add up to 180.
Yeah.
And then same thing here.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just make up another problem here for you to try, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's say I give you two parallel lines cut by a transversal, and this is 40 degrees in here.
Yeah.
I want you to find X, Y, Z, T, U, V, W.
Okay. Okay. So where the X is, you put 140, right?
Yes. So X is 140. So we'll just start putting them in here.
Okay, and then X is 140.
So how about down here? What is this
And
one?
then that one is 40.
40.
And the
So,
other one's 140.
okay. Now we get to kind of the more challenging one
E
here.
is 140.
I'm sorry, this one here.
Yeah.
That is 140. Agreed. How about this one here?
That's 40.
Okay. And then one below it.
140. And then
So you reuse the numbers over and over and over again.
yeah, it's just a pattern.
It's just a pattern. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's really not any harder than that. So, let's not pretend like, this is anything super, super complicated. It actually doesn't get any more complicated than this.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at question 3. So like I mentioned this before, there's kind of two things in geometry. One is you set equal. The second is they add up to something. So the question is, are 60 and 8x minus 4, are they equal or do they just add up to something?
They add up to something.
Well, they're alternate interior.
So then they're equal.
Yes. So that's the key.
Okay.
So you have to set them equal. 8x minus 4 equals 60.
Yeah.
All right, so are you comfortable solving this?
8x minus 4 equals 60.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, actually, just show me this one. I'll do the next one all by myself.
Okay, so you're going to add 4 to both sides. So you have 8x equals 64. Divide both sides by 8. So x equals 8.
Okay, I got the next one.
All right, so let's do another one here. Let's say we'll just change up just slightly.
Well, are we gonna do the number 4? It's like the same thing.
Well, let's just make up another number here. Let's say
Okay.
this is let's say it's 8x minus 2, and this is 70. Go ahead and solve for x, please.
Okay, I got you. The answer is 9, I believe. Yeah. Are you muted or you're just not
Sorry
talking?
about that. So yeah, x equals 9 is correct. So for
Yeah.
question 4, if your options here are either set them equal, but you have to know why. And the reasons are corresponding, alternate interior angles,
Mhm.
alternate exterior angles, vertical angles. Like you have to have a reason. You can't just be like, oh yeah, they're equal.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other option is you set them, they add up to something, usually 180. But again, you need a reason, like they're same side,
Yeah.
they're
Okay.
supplementary, something.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you say here? Are these equal? And if they are, which one of these is it? Because what is the reason? Because
Um, they're both equal because they well um they both like
they're corresponding.
answer, yeah, corresponding, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't really
So,
know how to say it. Yeah.
well, like again, if we go back to like what we start with, you have to know this. Like you have to wake up out of bed and be like, yeah,
Oh
one
yeah,
and
I know that. I know that stuff.
right, but in context too. Like you have to be like, oh yeah,
Okay, yeah,
70.
yeah, that's yeah, corresponding.
So 75 equals 11x minus 2. Like on a
Oh, okay,
test,
yeah.
on a test, you may not have to say why, but I would want you to. I would want you to give the reason because
I
that's
was
kind of
not thinking about like what if it was like the like corresponding and all that stuff. I was thinking more of like I don't know. I was just different.
all right. So go ahead and see if you can solve this equation for yourself.
Number 4. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I got the answer. X
All right.
equals 7.
X equals 7. Good. Do you want to do some more like this before we move on to the triangles?
No, I think I'm good on
Okay. Can you do one? How about one more?
that. Yeah, okay.
One more, and I already found it here. Unless you okay, so yeah, I mean we're cruising through this lesson. I mean, there's not a ton of other stuff here, unless you
Yeah.
got something else to surprise me with. You got 5x, you got 3x plus 50. Why are they equal?
Wait, what was it? Why are they equal?
Yes, I'm telling you now, they're equal. Like, so you got to tell me the reason why.
They're equal because um they're corresponding.
That's right. They're like if this were multiple choice, corresponding is one of the answers.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so you said 5x equal to 3x plus 50.
no.
Uh,
Well,
no,
yeah,
yeah.
but it's written differently. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay, so can you solve for x for me, please?
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Plus 50. Okay. And then we minus 50 now, or subtract, right?
Well, I heard maybe subtracting 3x from both sides.
Yeah.
So 2x equals 50. And the goal is to get x alone. Is x alone? Is it have any operators on it?
No, it's not alone.
No, it's got this 2 that's multiplying it. So how do you undo multiplication?
Okay, x equals wait. 25.
25. Yeah.
Yeah, this lesson is good.
All right. I would like to really quickly interject with a different type of problem just to see, maybe, I don't know, sometimes it's a little easier when it's a visual thing
Yeah.
rather than a variable thing. I put these up on social media. I know that a lot of students find them to be fairly popular. Have you seen anything like this before?
Yeah, kind of.
Do you like them? Do they make sense to you? Or
I mean, like, I get it. It's just, it doesn't really, like, I don't know. It's like the same thing, I guess. To me, I don't know.
it's really similar to what we've been doing, but it's also it's in picture form. It's not like
Yeah.
letters and variables. All right. Well, if we have time at the end, we can look at one together if you would like.
Okay.
But let's get back to your worksheet because I know that's what you scheduled for. So in a triangle, and that's what we're looking at next. Do you recall from class what the angles must always add up to in a triangle?
180. No, I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yes, you are correct.
180.
The angles must add up to 180 degrees.
Okay, yeah.
That means this one, 8x plus 2, 70, and 60 must add up to
180.
180.
I was a little unsure about that one.
So as I mentioned earlier, there's usually two things, like they either are equal or they add up to 180.
Yeah.
Okay, so you combine like terms first.
And 8x plus 132, 80. You put the 8x on 8 and 180, right?
I would subtract 132 from both sides. So when you solve,
Oh, last time we did it with
when you solve, you undo addition and subtraction first.
yeah. Oh. Yeah, x equals 6.
Now you got to be careful. So like this problem, if I were to snip into what it says to solve for x. Okay, and we've done that. Like, yay, we're happy we got the right answer. But sometimes it says, what are the measures of the angle?
Yeah, you want that, yeah.
And that means you have to take 6 and put it in for x. So like sometimes they say, okay, get the value of x. Great, you did that. But sometimes they just say, what are the measures of the angle? Which means you have to actually use that value, 8 times 6 plus 2.
Uh-huh.
To get that angle measure. So it's 48 plus 2, it's 50 degrees.
Yeah.
Right, does that make sense? Like the triangle is 50, 70, and 60.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. All right, let's look at question 5C next. It's really similar. And I ask these questions repeatedly because it's the question I hope you'll ask when you get to a test or quiz.
Yeah.
What do the angles measures have to add up to in a triangle?
180.
That's right. So 80 plus 9x plus 4 plus 16x minus 4 has to equal 180. This, plus this, which are right here, they have to add
That's
up to
180. Yeah.
Okay. So when you're looking at this, you want to combine like terms,
Uh-huh.
meaning if it's got an x in it, like why not combine the x's first?
Yeah.
9x plus 16x is 25x. What is 80 plus 4 minus 4?
80 plus 4 minus 4 is 80.
So you add 80 here, right? I can move it. It doesn't have to stay in front. So now you're looking at this equation. How do you solve it for x?
5x plus 80. Wait, wait. Oh, you want me to solve that?
Yes, I want you to solve it for x.
Okay. 25x. Eighty. Oh, x equals 5.
Okay, so I'm going to subtract 80 from both sides. I'm just checking your work here. So 25x equals 100.
Mm.
Divide by 25 both sides. So dividing by 25 is like quarters. How many quarters are in a dollar? I don't know if you pay with change often, but there are 4 quarters in $1.
Oh my gosh, I don't know why I said that. Did you?
Okay, so we've solved for x. Yay, we have x. Okay, but the
I know.
problem
Okay.
might actually want you to put the value of x back in. So you should be prepared to do that.
Yeah.
So let's do that here next. What is 9 times 4 plus 4?
9 times 4 plus 4. Wait.
We're going to do both of them. Sorry, just writing them down. So 9 times 4 plus 4. 9 times 4 is?
4. What the heck? Just 36, whatever.
36 plus 4 is 40.
Yeah.
And then we've got 16 times 4 minus 4.
Wait, what? 16 times 4?
Yes, we got the one over here on the right. Because we want both.
64, right?
64 minus 4 is?
460.
Right, so we had 80 degrees, 40 degrees, 60 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And does it add up to 180? Yeah.
Yeah.
80 plus 40 plus 60 is 180.
Yeah.
Okay, question B, 5B. This one's the most difficult. It's considered a synthesis question. You gotta like remember something from earlier today that we talked about. All right, so here's the question here. Here's the triangle. Is 62 degrees in the triangle? Or is it outside the triangle? Is it inside or outside of the triangle?
Outside.
It's outside. So we can't use it. Like it doesn't help with adding up to this. We really need this angle right here. I'll call it Y for a moment. What do we know about 62 and Y? Are they equal or do they add up to something? And this is a straight line right here.
62 and Y.
Does Y equal 62 or is 62 plus Y equal to something?
62 plus Y is equal to something. I think.
So do you see that these are on a straight line?
Yeah.
So when they're on a straight line, they add up to 180.
Mm-hmm. So then that means they
So why is the number that when you add it with 62 you get 180?
Yeah.
Because they're on a straight line. And we need Y. Like we can't find the triangle without this other angle.
So it's equal equal to,
So y is equal to 118 degrees.
yes, it is.
Okay, so now if I grab this picture again, and if I put 118 right here, is 62 plus 118, 180? Yes. Okay, but we want the triangle. We want x.
Yeah.
We want this triangle. So x plus 14 plus 118 has to equal 180 because all three angles in a triangle must add up to
180.
180. Okay, so can you solve this for x?
Yeah, okay. Uh, 24.
Yes. So now let's take this value of x. Let's put it back in the equation. Let's put it in there, and then let's put it into this equation. So
Then that means it's 180.
I'm going to grab, I'm actually going to just redraw the triangle here. So this is 24. 24 plus 14 is 38. And then the third angle is 118. So do those three numbers add up to 180? That's like your check.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, it does. Okay. I am concerned that there's still some confusion, either with how to solve equations or what to
No,
set up.
I'm really like good on it.
Okay. Okay. Is there some other things we can cover during this lesson then?
No, not really. This is it, and I got this down. Yeah.
Okay. Are you sure? I mean, will mom be okay if we stop here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'll just do one last time. Is there anything else you'd like to work on today?
Yeah, nothing. I'm fine. I got this down pretty well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for scheduling, and I'll see you next time. I'll send you the notes out here shortly.
All right. See ya.
Have a great night.
Thanks.
Bye now.